Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel and welcome to your tarot reading. This is a channel where we do daily updates for divine counterparts, and this specific video is a special edition video dedicated to the full moon in Gemini that we're going to be experiencing just hours from when I'm publishing this. The peak, is going to be there. The energy is already with us and it will stay for a few days afterwards. So if you're watching this a day or two later, not to worry, because it will be just as strong, just as powerful. You can still make full use of it. You know, the intention is what matters really. And I have exciting decks here. I brought the Beyond the Lemuria deck to get us some oracle message to start with for each of the twins, and then we'll do the 3-question read for, what are we cleansing, what are we releasing with this full moon, which is the main energy of the full moons, right? Second, what is the communication that we need to make during this time? Mind that this full moon also coincides, and as I'm saying this, my light started playing, twinkling. Let me just take care of that, because this is going to be a little distracting, so we'll just keep them stable. So this full moon in Gemini coincides with the end of Mercury retrograde, and Mercury, Gemini, they're respectively the planet and the sign that are responsible for communication. So we'll also see the second question is going to be what needs to be communicated right now, right? What is the communication that we should be delivering to ourselves and to the outside world? Why not? And then the third one would be, how is this full moon impacting the twin flame connection specifically, right? What do we need to know from that perspective? All right. So we'll get started right away. Do I have any announcements to make? There will be a separate reading for full moon guidance for each zodiac sign on my other channel, Mindful Bamboo, where I do horoscopes. So there will be like shorter guidances, but I will cover every zodiac sign. So if that's something you're interested in, then definitely look out for that video and definitely subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. There's a handle in the description box. And as always, if you enjoy what I'm doing, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, show some support. It all counts. It's a really small step for you, but it's going to be very beneficial for the channel, for spreading the word, for getting the message out there. All right. So, and yeah, a quick reminder for those who are in New York area, I will be at the Psychic Fair in Brooklyn tomorrow. It's in Ridgewood. It's at the yoga studio that's called Daya, and there will be more information about it in the newsletter that I'll send out tonight, hopefully, and on my IG channel. All right, so Divine Feminines. I've got a little Christmas tree candle here. My friend gave it to me like 2 years ago, seriously. And she's from overseas, so she actually like made a lot of effort to send it to me. And it was like at the end of the season, because it takes a while for those packages to get here, especially from Eastern Europe. And I didn't want to just like use it just because. I was like, okay, I'll wait for the next Christmas season and then it will be special. But then something else came up and it's so pretty, so like I just never lit it up the next season either. And now, like, fast forward 2 years from now and from that time, and I finally remembered about it, found it, and there it is. I feel like it looks amazing in the frame while I'm doing the videos, the readings. And it's definitely a nudge to my friend, so I'll make sure that she knows that how special this candle is for me and for recording these readings for you. So Divine Feminines, you've got the luminescence, but it's called the luminescence in this deck. This is one of my more starseedy, soul vibes kind of decks. I need to do this, I think. Let's do this. Why not? This is number 35. And of course, this is inspired, as the name suggests, by the Lemurian heritage. So It has that vibe all like through and through. Let me see what the extended message is for this one. There's a long story here, but we will read the divinatory message. Consider the parts of yourself you may not be accepting. You may be experiencing an inner dissonance due to what you're trying to push away. This card is about self-love. That is the deep, compassionate, unconditional love of self that brings you into wholeness. Looming essence means the essence of light. There's nothing that makes us shine more than a heart that is full of love. You can shine through the shadows most gracefully when there's no fear within. Accept your shadows so they can move easily, that they can more easily resolve. Allow more light and love inside and out of your world. Beautiful, beautiful. And I love like this heart, you know, like how the heart illuminates the love and sends it to the world, you know, and it's to the point where, you know, like if you're trying to do your best at your light work, and all twin flames are light workers, and you're like, okay, I want to make a difference in the world. And I spoke about it a little bit in the last episode of my show, Mindfully Awake, just yesterday, that was like the finishing word, that, you know, we spoke about the community healing and us impacting the collective impacting us. But at the end of the day, the most important contribution that you can make for the collective is really self-healing. Self-love is cleansing your own field. It's raising your own vibration. And that's when, you know, that's like the most important part, you know, before looking at doing something for others specifically. Beautiful. Yeah, full moons also illuminate those things to us that are usually hidden, that could be space of insecurity or just like extra vulnerability that we may not be ready for, right? And this is, I feel like that there's a big connection between that illumination and this card, where a part of the message was about acceptance. You know, accept your fears as well. That's a big part of it too. And then we have number 8 for masculines, which is 35 comes down to 8 in numerology. This was 35. And this one is actually 8, and this is the third eye chakra. The chakra cards in this deck have, it's the pineal perspective, have the, oh my God, what's it called? I forgot what the sign called, but they have like this little signs, if you can see in the left corner, that you can use a sigil. There we go. There's the sigils that you can use as a ritual. And you can imagine, of course, the third eye chakra is actually usually like the darker blue, like more like not navy, but this kind of color. And you can imagine the light of that color, and you just repeating the pattern with your finger 3 times, and imagine that you're being washed by like showered by the light of this blue, the energy of this blue color. But let's see if we have anything here. The chakra cards, of course, are a little different in this deck than the other ones. So yeah, healing positions between the eyebrows, deep indigo blue color. The themes are enhancing your imagination or intuition, seeing beyond illusion. Again, notice the connection of this concept with the full moon, seeing behind or beyond the illusion. A lot of times we are living with the illusion and we just normalize it and we accept it as a given, and we don't even pay attention to it. And full moon can illuminate new things that we, or new angle to the things that we accepted as a given. Examine limiting ideas, listen more, balance the left hemisphere's logical and analytical thinking with inner guidance and deeper wisdom. Take note of any thought patterns that may be holding you from your fullest potential through the mind-based fear of past experiences. Alrighty, with that said, let's move into the tarot read. I've got the good tarot for the main read and the main deck, and then the spellcaster deck for clarifiers. And as I mentioned, we'll have 3 questions for each of the collectives, masculine and feminine. Bottom of the deck, messenger of air. This is the Gemini energy, right? And this is the Knight of Swords in the regular deck, right? This is air. This is that Gemini vibe of like delivering the information, delivering the message. What is it that you need to know? Pay attention to the information that you're receiving at this time. And of course, it doesn't hurt reading between the lines. If you heard a message that just keeps coming back to you and you're not sure why, and it seems so distant from who you are, what you do, or it doesn't really make sense, like why would that be important right now, right? Then take some time, sleep on it, live with it, you know, meditate on it, and if anything, you can ask your guides, like what's the importance of this? Why am I remembering this, for example, right? Why am I hearing this song? Bottom of the deck here, Nine of Cups, yeah. So that could be, I like that there's also full moon here in this card. This is about wishes coming true and us relying on external circumstances, especially with the genie here, right? Like we're waiting for this magical moment or magical person, magical opportunity for our dreams to come true, right? And that's one of the illusions that we could be working with at this time. So the first question is, what are we clearing? What are we putting behind us with this full moon? Wow, feminines have two major arcanas here, the Empress and the Wheel of Fortune. So it's very interesting, right? Because these are like big concepts, major arcanas, something that is kind of like is shine upon us from the divine perspective, from the universe perspective, right? But those could be limited beliefs as well. How do we understand our own potency, and what is the balance between the power that we have personally and the power that the divine has, and divine timing and all that, you know, all the different aspects of the divine plan, right? Like what's the balance between them? Sometimes we rely too much on the universe and we just do nothing and procrastinate, right? Or sometimes we think that, you know, it's all up to us, and the society actually, especially in America, I would say, society kind of programs us to the thought that, you know, anything is possible and it's all in my hands, right? Putting a lot of pressure on ourselves, and also thinking that, you know, it's always like if I make it, it's me, but also if I don't make it, it's on me, right? And that could have negative impacts. So this is something to put behind, like it's like not to go to the extremes of one or the other, but seeing what's relevant in the current time, right? And always remembering that it's both. I mean, of course, the percentage could be different, and there's a good chance that you will never know what is the real percentage between the part that you play, yourself and your choices, and the ego that's part of you. I mean, in a neutral state, not like, I don't mean this in a negative connotation. But, you know, that's the driver of our personal self. And, you know, the divine, the universe, the higher self even, right? Like how much is it coming from there, right? Like there is both. There's always the element of both energies. And it's important to honor them equally. Yes. For masculines, wow, we see the messenger of fire and the moon. Also very interesting because it's the fire and water energy, right? And I mean, the moon again is kind of on the nose for the full moon, I know, but I mean, you know, I pulled the cards out of the deck, you saw me shuffling, so this is just to kind of reiterate how much sometimes, and I feel like for the masculines, this is the pattern that they're putting behind with this full moon, or they can release, is this strong drive to make things happen, right? Like, okay, I see the goal and I'm just gonna go for it no matter what. This is the Knight of Wands energy. This is a very determined energy, right? This is like, okay, I see this and I'm gonna go through any obstacle just straight to it, right? It can also mean sexual desire and passion, just like going for it, right? Sometimes the player energy even. But whatever it is, this is like disregarding the emotional side and more like driving with that raw masculinity. And for masculines, I feel like it's important to respect the balance between the feminine and the masculine within them, right? And be able, and this is minor arcana and major arcana, and be able to listen to the higher power, to the universe, for guidance, right? And not just go with whatever my ego or my sacral chakra dictates to me, right? Have balance between both. Also be able to use intuition in a deeper way, right? So putting behind the ego as a driver for action, right? That's the main driver for action. The second question is what needs to be communicated during this time by the twins to themselves or to other people. For feminines, it's Two of Air and the Sun. Lovely Sun card. The happiest card in the deck, right? So there is some kind of obstacle between the feminine and the happiness, the state of happiness, right? And it is in the conversation. So the conversation itself is the purpose, right? Like of sharing, what is my doubt? Where am I stumbled? You know, where do I not understand? Like, I don't know, if it's a relationship, I don't understand where we are. Let's talk about that because I can't figure it out on my own, right? Or if it's just the next step in my life, whatever that is, right? Like, looking at it from a wider perspective, or talking to someone you trust, right? Like right now, I'm kind of like I'm thinking this, I'm feeling this, and I can't really decide, because that's usually the choices in the Two of Swords, and where we can just stumble upon those and go into the frozen state, right? The most important part is that your higher power is supporting you throughout this process, and that's supposed to give you more motivation and confidence to go through it, to take that action rather than just keep in the frozen state if you're not 100% sure. What do masculines need to communicate? We have Two of Fire, clarified by Page of Wands. More and more fire for the masculines. I mean, this is cute fire, of course, especially with this card. This is so lovely. And yeah, I feel like usually Two of Fire is about choosing the direction, right? But this is also about the journey in this card. Not just about the choice, but about the journey. Make sure you have some good companionship on your journey, Divine Masculines. And if you already have that companion in your life, whether it's your feminine, your friend, somebody, some kind of business partner, communicate it to them. That you know that you took some risks with them, but you're happy that they are with you on this path. Maybe it's a risky path for both of you, but it makes all the difference in the world that you have that person with you. The third question is, how is this impacting the connection for the feminines? Wow, 10 of Swords, 10 of Cups. Wow, this is like a catharsis process. And 10 of Swords in this deck is also quite different, right? But it is like, it's also, there's a breathing moment here where she's breathing out the air and you can see it, right? So to me, to me personally, this is a hint at some breathwork exercise, right? But there is this sense of release, release of the tension, release of the pain, like the deeper pain and suffering, with the intention of bringing in more balance and harmony within your own field and within the community, within the collective, maybe within the family, right? Like, it doesn't have to be a big group of people. So for the feminines, the biggest impact on this connection at this time is that you're able to release your personal tension and trauma in order to be able to get into the 10 of Cups energy of happiness, of emotional fulfillment, that when you're with your person, you can really fully appreciate it without having these blockages, even on the physical level. If any of you have any kind of issues with lungs or with breathing, then this is like big time your sign that this is something important. It's your body sending you messages far beyond those symptoms, and this is something to pay attention to and to work with at this time, which will contribute to the prosperity of your connection, to the success of this connection. Masculines, what do they need to know? Wow, two major arcanas again, the Star and the Temperance. And again, we have Temperance with balancing of masculine and feminine, and we have the Star with lots of healing. And I mean, it's not the full moon, but it still kind of looks like full moon here. I'm sorry, but it just does, right? So for masculines, this is a big opportunity to use these transits, both the Mercury retrograde and the full moon, to bring more healing and balance in communication, in physical health, in the way that masculines make decisions. And this in its turn will impact the connection, right? Because masculines will be more in tune with their feminine side, hence they will be able to understand their feminine better. Masculines will be more balanced in terms of emotion and the ego, the drive, so they will be making better decisions in the connection, right? There will be less of an ego-driven ones and more high, like in a high vibrational frequency, right? So it's very interesting because it's still like a lot of this also has to do with the mission and purpose that the masculines have. So also, and we know that connection is directly linked to the mission and purpose that they have with their feminines and also by themselves. So this full moon also brings a lot of clarity for masculines in terms of what they can do, what their mission is here, and so that they understand better what they can bring to the table in their partnership with the feminine. Even if at this point it's still more of a friendly partnership or more of a business partnership or something creative, right? We don't need to put labels on roles and relationship, right? But it's still part of the evolvement of this connection. Okay, I'm gonna finish here. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I love you all. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time,